One is the countdown itself, because that's how it starts. 5 to 3 in the afternoon, exactly 61 hours before it happened. Before what happened? Bastard. Yeah. 40 hours to go. Bastard. You know, what is it? 5 to 7 in the afternoon, 20 hours to go. You know, bastard. You know, 10 hours to go. And you're thinking, what is this? What can it possibly be? You know, is it, you know, 5 to 11, like, you know, 5 hours to go. So that's one of the major things that I like about the book. It's got that narrative drive, you know, with the countdown, and as it gets, you know, 1 hour to go. Oh, bastard, pressure, you know. So that's one of the main ones. The second reason that makes it good is, this is the one where he meets Susan Turner over at Fawn, and she's the head of his ex-110th military police outfit that Reacher used to command. She's the new chief kind of thing, you know. And he meets her over at Fawn because he wants some info, you know, and she's there with sexy voice. Hi Reacher, how's it going, like, you know. Yeah, give us some information. Okay then. So that comes into it every now and then, and as soon as it goes back to it, oh, it's Susan Turner again. Hi Reacher, you know, come and visit me in South Virginia, like, you know. I will, you know. So that's pretty good as well. And of course the third aspect is the crazy Latin megalomaniac midget called Plato. And he's 4'11" he is. And it's a classic when you read what he did to one of his henchmen, Martinez, who called him a midget, you know. That's a classic. But because of his own megalomania, it keeps coming up with this phrase. Because he was Plato and they weren't. And every time it goes back to Plato, or not every time, but, you know, more or less every time, it keeps mentioning this phrase. The plan would fall into place because he was Plato and they weren't. And you start to look forward to that. So you've got these 3 main timelines, but also there's a bit towards the end. It's a bit mini spoiler-ish. But I think there's a scene right at the end, or towards the end, where Plato's coming in on his plane and he phones Reacher up, you know, we're coming in, get the landing lights ready. And Reacher's thinking, you know, what landing lights? He ain't got any, you know. And then he finds it's to do with these flares in this car, so he's there going to the 4 corners of the runway to get these flares there, so the plane can see him as it comes in. You know, he's got this battered in car trying to get round him quick before he comes in. 1, 2, 3, and he's going towards Laston, and then car conks out, bastard. So he just gets out of the car, boom, throws the flare, and he does it with about a minute to spare. And then he waits for the plane coming in. I can just imagine it in a movie, but it comes right over his head, you know, as it lands. And then you think, fucking hell, it's going to be 6'5" Jack Reacher against 4'11" Plato, buzzing like fuck, you know. And when they eventually do me, you know, Plato sees him. You must be such a body. And Reacher, because he's disguised as somebody else, you know, Reacher says, yeah, like, you know, finally we meet. And the conversation that they have then, it's a classic. I'm a smart guy. And then they have to go down into the complex, you know, and that's good as well. And so that's what makes the book. You've got the 3 timelines, you know, 50 years to go, 40 years to go, 30 years to go, bastard, what is it? 12 years to go. And then you've got in between, oh, it's Susan Turner, you know, hey Reach, how's it going, like, you know, bastard. And then it's with the Master Criminal as well, because he was Plato and they weren't, you know. And then it's, I think, probably Plato's my favourite Master Criminal that he's done, definitely. And so you get all these timelines, and then 5 minutes to 4 in the morning, 61 hours gone. Bastard! It's like, fucking hell. Whoa. So, you've got to read 61 hours. If you've not read 61 hours, you've got to read it. Obviously. Yeah. So, yeah. Highly recommended. Cracker. I don't know whether that's my favourite one or whether it's Echo Burning. But it's definitely one of the better Reachers. Never mind Boot Writer William, like, you know. So yeah, highly recommended. 61 hours. Oh, just remembered, and I read it as well. It might have been on Amazon. I think some anorak said, "Hey, there's no way you could fly an aeroplane into American airspace without NORAD finding out." You know, and I went, I kind of thought about it. I know why he could do it, because he was Plato and they weren't. Right. Right, right, before next, and I've just kind of reviewed it on camera then, and I just keep noticing that I keep saying, you know, and it's extremely annoying even to me, you know. So I'll try and stop saying, you know. Right, next one. Worth dying for. Right, usually you got one Reacher book a year, but this came out, we actually got 2 this time, because this was marketed as a sequel to 61 Hours. I was going to say, you know, then, but I didn't, you know. Bastard. Plot, Reacher ends up in this kind of town. There's this scumbag hillbilly type family that holds the town in fear. They've got something coming in this white van across the border. Obviously Reacher gets involved and just batters them basically. Now, as a Reacher story in itself, I'd class it as good. It's alright. But what fucked me up was the marketing. Because it's advertising it as a sequel to 61 Hours. Yeah? So I'm thinking, not unreasonably, that there's a Russian that appears in 61 Hours, and I thought maybe he's going to be in it. And obviously he's going to meet Susan Turner now. Yeah. So I'm reading through it like, you know, I'm reading through it, and I'm thinking, where's this Russian guy, you know, is he going to meet Susan Turner, you know. So I was distracted by that, and when you've read it, you realise that it's not really a sequel to 61 Hours at all. It's no real connection. So that was kind of disappointing, really. Like I said, the story's okay. It's fine, but it was the marketing that got it wrong. They shouldn't have advertised it as a sequel to 61 Hours, because it isn't. It can just stand alone as a Reacher novel in its own right. So that's that one. But good, yeah, worth a read.